Sartini, welcome to Morning Footy. It's so great to see you.
Great to see you too, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, we gotta talk about this Nickelback experience because we couldn't get enough of it here on Morning Footy. Can you kind of tell us the story of how that opportunity for you to actually take the stage with the band came about?
Yeah, it was right before the final of the Canadian Championship. We were promoting the game, so we were going on local TV station, radio station, and there's a radio station here in Vancouver that doesn't do particularly too much on sport. It's more about music and fan shows. And so I was there with them, and they challenged me to sing a couple of lines of a Nickelback song, and because they were having a contest for someone to go on stage with them. And so they were like, I sang a little, they liked it, and there was a huge reaction from the listeners, and they asked me, okay, so let's say that we declare you the winner, and then you go to on stage with them. Because it was before the final, and I didn't want to jinx anything, I said, I'm gonna do it only if we win, because I'm gonna go on stage with the cup and do it. Luckily, we won. For both things, we won a trophy, and also they give me the possibility to go on stage with them. And that's it. I had the possibility to do it. It was I had a blast. It was a fun time for sure.
Now, Coach, did any of the players maybe have fun with this? Because sometimes Nickelback can be one of those bands that people are, joked about if they're fans of. I, in particular, may have made a few jokes about, you performing, because Nickelback may not be my favorite band. But did any of the players get a chance to kind of maybe joke with you about it?
Yeah. Beside that, I think I'm giving the players every week something to joke about me, so that's okay. But it was a message to them also that the main thing that count is the effort. So if you go with the right mentality, you can do everything.
Vanni, how were you received? How did you feel about your performance with the band?
I think the band helped me a lot. I think, like in soccer, when the team helps you a lot, you're very you can do a good performance. And when I didn't reach some vocal note, and luckily there was a lot of music and a lot of noise, so I was a little bit covered. But I really liked it. The fans were amazing, and there was a lot of course, the concert was in Vancouver. There was a lot of Nickelback fans, so there were always also Whitecaps fans. So yeah, it was actually a really nice night. Now I am so Vancouver is also famous for, there's a lot of TV and movie production here. So I went to music. Maybe now some director is going to call me.
Yes, the next 007.
Sign him up.
Vanni, were you nervous at all?
No, I'm a pretty silly person. That on this thing, I really like it. I'm very extrovert, and so I wasn't that nervous. Also, because I was thinking that so when we coach, we coach more or less. When I coach more or less in front of the same people, and like 20,000, and those people expect the team to be good. So I'm much more nervous before a game. On the stage, no one was expecting me to be good.
Amazing. Yeah, you set the bar low, and then you can only surprise people in the best way. Well, Vanni, let's chat about let's chat some soccer a little bit. We'll get to some more fun stuff later. But the Vancouver Whitecaps they've kind of been, at least my dark horse team this season. You guys are quietly putting together a really solid season. You've got players like Ryan Gauld and Brian White and Julian Gressel who are having fantastic outings in 2023. You have said yourself that you think that there's no other team in the league that you can compete with anyone. How would you assess this 2023 side and how far you guys can go this year?
So yeah, we're doing well in terms of performance. We're building. We're going to the right direction. We have good players. We have a good roster. We are playing, I would say, a good style of play. We have to be, I would say, less naive sometimes. There's a couple of areas that we need to improve. We considered too many goals on set plays, to be honest, and we didn't. I would say we are on top of a lot of stats about expected goals and number of chances had, but they didn't actually translate in the number of goals that we could have scored. So I think that we are going in the right direction. There's still work to do, but I agree on what you said before. Like I think that especially the Western Conference is so tight that if we are able to get into a run of results, we can really aim for the high position. That means maybe third, fourth in the West, and then in the playoff, everything can happen because again, everything is so tight. At the same time, we don't have to forget that the most important thing is try to secure a position in the playoff. So we need to take care of business, especially at home, and then we have 2 games in a row at home now before the stop of the Leagues Cup. So winning those games would put us in a great position to start the last part of the season in, I would say, not chasing a position, but just maintaining it.
Coach, I want to ask about you. When you started out with the team, they appointed you an interim, and then you impressed so much that they made you the official head coach. Do you think that's helped your ability to connect with the players being an interim? Did you coach in a different way maybe, knowing that you were sort of being given this opportunity?
I think so. I actually think so, for 2 reasons. I was already part of the team before, so I was working with the second team and being the director of the academy, so I already knew everyone, so it was easy, the transition to get in the locker room. And the second team, having this label as an interim, helped me, I would say, being even more courageous at the beginning. I probably made choices that if I was in a, I would say, in a position where I have a longer contract, if you have to think long term, probably I wouldn't have done it. So that helped me to be even more, I would say, in tune with the players and the fans. And then things went perfectly. The first 15 games when I came on in 2021, and from last place we went to the playoffs. So it's that's the story, basically.
Vanni, I'd love to know what have been your coaching influences. Vancouver Whitecaps is a pretty high-profile gig, and I think in the US and MLS and Canada, you were a new face overall. How do you describe your coaching style, and where did you kind of learn from?
Yeah, I'm Italian, so I started. I played in the lower division in Italy. I started working as a coach in Italy. I worked for the federation in Italy, so I had the luck and the possibility to meet a lot of great coaches and have influences of a lot of great coaches. I would say I'm a pretty stereotypical Italian in the sense that I think that tactics is everything, and it guides everything in what I think about the game. Of course, the technique, the physical part, the mental part are important, but they all serve the tactics. My biggest influence, my biggest mentor was the Italian coaching director that I work under him. His name is Renzo Olivieri. He coached for 30 years in Serie A from the 80s to the 2010, basically. And he told me literally a lot in terms of the coaches that I see day by day. Probably the coach that I really look more at is Sarri, the coach of Lazio. Now he coached Napoli, Chelsea. Mm-hmm. That is some, and also mostly for the way that he defends. I know he's very famous for the way that he attacks, and for the way that he attacks, I really like what Antonio Conte did when he was at Juventus, when he was at Chelsea, when he was at Inter. This kind of vertical, very exciting style.
What do you expect from the team? Because you're going to get to the point where you're not sort of this, crushing in silence, like Susanna said, where people are now going to go to Vancouver and want to beat you. They know you're going to be a strong team. You're going to have to switch it up. How do you think the team can change a little bit, or how do you want to how do you plan for that?
Yeah, it's actually, I would say, a thing that we need to grow. We need to have this awareness that. So 2 weeks ago we went to LA and we beat LAFC, and it was called like a big surprise because also we were missing a lot of players in the Gold Cup. And I told the players that it shouldn't be taken as a surprise. We need to be aware that we are a good team, and sometimes we're still it's still a new thing for us. And so we, if things are not going well, if we concede a goal, we don't still have this reaction of a mature team that, hey, we can take care of business anyway. So I would say it's a step that the team needs to do, and we're trying to, I would say, help the team doing it in a way that being focused on the process. If we have a game that is not going well, no problem. We know that we're doing the good thing, so let's just keep pushing and keep going, because we know that this kind of I would say work, this type of work is going to be giving its fruit at the end, and that it's going to be the next step for this team.
Well, Vanni, you are one of the best personality coaches that we have in Major League Soccer. Always an absolute treat to talk to. But one of the other things that I love about you personally is that you love your two cats so much, Pablo and Frida, to the point that they have their own Instagram account, which I follow. Yeah. They are beautiful, beautiful cats.
Oh, look at these guys.
Pablo is a new one, though, right? You had Frida, and then Pablo came. How are the two cats getting along now?
Yeah, they are. Now it's good. The first period was a little bit of an adjustment period for Frida, but not for Pablo. Pablo fell in love with Frida immediately. It's like a classic young boy that is excited about everything, and now it's life is much simpler and better at home because they're not fighting every day like the first day. So that's fantastic. And I want to give a shout out to my wife because she's the social media manager for Pablo. She's doing a fantastic job.
What's your wife's name?
Barbara.
Barbara. Well done, Barbara.
Well done.
Can the cats tell if you've won or lost? Like, can they sense your mood? Are they like, oh, Daddy's upset, Daddy's happy?
I would say that I don't know. They're not probably telling me if I won or lost, but it's literally I don't know if because I'm becoming old, I'm becoming too emotional. I'm very emotional when I come back from an away trip and it's 3 a.m. and they're all so excited to see me. It's like that's the best treat. Even if I lost, like say last time we were in Kansas City, we lost, came back at 2-3 a.m. and and having the cats that are happy to see you at least give you a little bit of solace in dark nights.
Do the cats get upset when you play Nickelback?
No, they were my biggest fan.
Nice, that's actually great. That's really cool.
Of course they were. Vanni Sartini, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Best of luck the rest of this season. I'm always cheering for you.